watching Superfast 50. I'm Shivangi Shukla. Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who will be on a 4-day visit to India starting September 5th, hailed PM Modi-led initiative Vaccine Maitri, where India sent crores of COVID-19 vaccine doses to Bangladesh and other countries. Sheikh Hasina further referred to India as a tested friend, adding that the country had stood by Bangladesh in his hour of need.
Their visit at such a time, even that time there was a COVID-19, but this pandemic, but beside that, both of them honor us, honor our people, and that visit really gave us a tremendous,
Speaking on the assassination of her father, Sheikh Hasina underscored how the day marked a defining moment in the war for liberation.
It was really unbelievable that any Bengali could do it. And still we didn't know what really happened, only there was a coup, and then we heard that my father was assassinated, but we didn't know that all the family members were, they were assassinated.
Sheikh Hasina termed the Rohingyas taking refuge in the nation as a big burden on the country and asserted India could play a major role in resolving the issue further, adding that her country is reaching out to the international community to ensure the return of the refugees to their homeland.
For us, it is a big burden. India is a vast country, you can accommodate, but you don't have much. But in our country, we have one.
Sheikh Hasina further added that the opposition parties formed by a military dictator have made several attempts to kill her further, reiterating that, however, she has always worked for the country and not for revenge and will continue to do so.
They tried to kill me, yes, several times, but I survived. In a broad daylight, there was a grenade attack. I don't know how I survived, but our party leaders, workers, they just cover me, made a human shield. So they receive all the splinter, but I was totally saved.
Speaking on the issue of India-Bangladesh water sharing, Sheikh Hasina said India should show more generosity and both the countries would be beneficiaries. Teesta River has been the bone of contention and that Bangladesh is certain that a solution will soon be derived under PM Modi.
We are in a, downstream. So water is coming from India. So India should show more broadness because both the country will be beneficiary. So sometimes our people suffered a lot because of this need of water, especially Teesta. We could not go for harvest and so many problems.
With issues of unemployment, inflation and rising prices on the agenda, Congress stages a mega protest in the national capital. Security was beefed up and paramilitary forces were deployed ahead of the protest.
महंगाई सबसे बड़ी चिंता जनता में महंगाई के बारे में है। पेट्रोल, डीजल, रसोई गैस, दाल, दही, जिस मूर्खतापूर्ण तरीके से जीएसटी लगाया गया है खाद्य पदार्थों पर, इससे महंगाई बढ़ी है। महंगाई तो बढ़ रही है, उसके साथ साथ बेरोजगारी भी बढ़ रहा है। तो इसीलिए हम कहते हैं मोदी सरकार के दो भाई, बेरोजगारी और महंगाई।
As hundreds of Congress workers took to the streets of the national capital with black flags in their hand, several protesters were detained and even lathi-charged by police officers in a bid to maintain law and order.
ना है लड़ रहे हैं और लोग भी बहुत बेजार हो गए हैं और इतनी महंगाई बढ़ी है, लोग तंग आ गए हैं और ये मोदी सरकार को सबक सिखाना चाहती है।
Days after staging a walkout from the Congress party, Ghulam Nabi Azad, who recently broke his 5-decade-long association with the Congress, made his first public address in a mega rally in Jammu today. CBI carried out searches in Kolkata and Halasahar across 7 locations. Sources have informed that 6 premises were linked to TMC leader Subodh Adhikari. In fresh trouble for Mamta's men, sources have informed that TMC leader Subodh Adhikari's residence has been raided and more leaders also under the scanner in the Ponzi scam case. As raids underway in Bihar, CID recovered rupees 1 crore 40 lakh from a businessman's residence in Malda. CID recovered huge amount of money from Jaiprakash Saha. In a big boost for BJP, 5 former JDU MLA joined the ruling party in presence of BJP President JP Nadda. The Manipur CM N. Biren Singh was also present at that event. Amid Congress workers' protests in the national capital, Rahul Gandhi in an address said that 2 Indias have been created today. One belongs to the poor, others to the millionaires.
जेब से पैसा निकाला, गरीबों को कहा काले धन के खिलाफ लड़ाई है, और फिर कुछ ही महीनों बाद आपने देखा कि जो आपके जेब में से पैसा निकाला गया था, लाखों करोड़ रुपए देश के सबसे बड़े उद्योगपतियों का कर्जा माफ किया गया.
Speaking on the relations with China, S. Jaishankar stated that while everyone wished to get along with major countries, it couldn't be at the cost of national interest. Further, going on to mention how they wished differences between the 2 countries could be resolved. But whether or not it could happen depended on them. A search for at least 5 identified people accused of assaulting a traffic cop in MOURINHO continues as 2 have been arrested in connection with the incident. The police is further said to have been on the lookout for at least 24 other unidentified people. At least 12 burglars robbed a jewellery showroom in Dhanbad in Jharkhand, brandishing guns at the shop owners, with them having fled with all the jewellery from the store. Congress leaders Raja Waring and Sukhpal Khera have been booked for posting forged documents linked to the Aam Aadmi Party, sharing the list of chairpersons appointed in Punjab on a fabricated letterhead from the party. CM K. Chandrasekhar Rao held a meeting with the Pragati Bhavan and discussed several issues, including the celebration of Telangana National Integration Day for 3 days. The CM decision to celebrate Telangana Liberation Day on September 17th as National Integration Day came on the backdrop of AIMIM Chief Assaduddin Owaisi's letter to Union Home Minister Amit Shah and KCR urging for the same. Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia said that a thorough probe into Jharkhand's Deoghar Airport row, in which 9 people, including BJP MP Nishikant Dubey and Manoj Tiwari, had been booked. The FIR was registered against the 2 BJP MPs and 7 other people for allegedly forcing air traffic control officials to provide clearance for the chartered flight to take off from the Deoghar Airport beyond the scheduled time on the 31st of August. The police have arrested 5 cattle smugglers following a police encounter in the incident where a calf was being transported in a luxury car. 2 were injured as a result of the encounter and 3 arrested. The Indian Met Department issued a yellow alert for heavy rainfall over the next 2 days in 10 districts in Himachal Pradesh. The IMD has issued an alert in the state for heavy rain and flash floods in most parts of the state. Deputy Director of IMD Himachal Pradesh said that during the past 24 hours, most parts of the state received heavy rainfall and this will continue in the region. RJD leader Vijendra Yadav was shot dead on Saturday. The murder took place near the Nimdhira road of Karghar. It has been reported that the president of PAK'S, Vijendra Yadav, was going for farming work when 6 bike-riding criminals opened fire at him, in which 2 bullets hit the former chief. There is a suspicion of murder over old enmity. A fire broke out at a wedding pandal in West Bengal's Delhi's Rajouri garden area. The Delhi Fire Service has officials said that no one was hurt in it. An incident of fire was reported at around 1 a.m. in a wedding pandal in Vishal enclave of Rajouri garden area. Atul Garg, director of Delhi Fire Service, said that 23 fire tenders were rushed to the site and the blaze was brought under control in 2 hours. Union Home Minister Amit Shah will launch the 36th National Games anthem and mascot and also inaugurate smart schools of the Ahmedabad civic body. He will also inaugurate the 6th All India Prison Duty Meet in Ahmedabad. During the day, Shah will first inaugurate the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation's smart schools. He will participate in the 36th National Games curtain raiser program along with Union Sports Minister Anurag Thakur and Gujarat CM Bhupendra Patel. As fresh details such as the confession of a conspiracy has come about in the connection with Sonali Phogat's death, her family continues to push for a CBI inquiry at the Goa High Court owing to a lack of development on one file at Supreme Court. Following a tribal girl's body found hanging by a tree in Dumka, days after Ankita succumbed to her burns, Jharkhand's first CM and current leader of opposition, Babulal Marandi, has called for a CBI or NI investigation into the death. The authorities await the autopsy report to ascertain further details of the death. 4 people have been admitted to the PGIMs in Rohtak after a shootout at the Maharishi Dayanand University in the district, when people in one vehicle opened fire at that of another, thereby leading to the injuries. The incident is reported to have been the result of a reluctance to pay money. A Dalit student was allegedly locked up in a classroom and beaten with a metal rod by his teacher after he touched his motorcycle. The teacher has been reported to be suspended following the incident. Amid the misrepresentation of facts, over 25 lakh additional voters in Jammu and Kashmir, the Jammu and Kashmir Election Commission has called for an all-party meeting which is scheduled to take place on Monday, September 5th. All major political parties in Jammu and Kashmir are invited to take part in the meeting tomorrow evening. Notably, the meeting has been called to clear the apprehensions of parties over an addition of new voters in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. A Pakistani terrorist who was arrested during an infiltration attempt about a fortnight ago died on Sunday of cardiac arrest at a military hospital where he underwent surgery in the Rajouri district of Jammu and Kashmir. Tabarak Hussain, a resident of Subkot village of Kotli in Pakistan, occupied Kashmir, was arrested on August 24th for the second time in the past 6 years while trying to intrude into this side from across the border. Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will begin a 5-day tour to Japan and Mongolia on September 5th with the goal of strengthening India's defence and security cooperation with both nations. According to reports, Singh and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will join their Japanese counterparts at the 2+2 Defence and Foreign Ministerial Conference in Japan. Union Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Hardeep Singh Puri will lead an official and business delegation to Italy to attend the Gastech Milan 2022. Now, the Union Minister will lead the delegation to Milan from September 5th and 7th. During the visit, he will take part in ministerial panel discussions titled Energy Security and Transition. ISRO successfully demonstrated a new technology with inflatable aerodynamic decelerator, which is set to be a game changer with multiple applications for future missions. And IAD, designed and developed by Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, was successfully test flown in Rohini sounding rocket from the Thumba Equatorial Rocket Launching Station. Pakistan is on the verge of economic collapse due to depleting foreign exchange reserves and spiraling inflation, and the political instability in the country has further worsened the economic crisis. The general public had lost trust in the capability of the country's economic managers to steer the country out of the crisis. On the other hand, the political leaders of the country were engaged in a political blame game and cross allegations of corruption against each other. After the US approved USD 1.1 billion ounce package to Taiwan, 4 aircraft and 5 ships from China's military across the median line of the Taiwan Strait, the Ministry of National Defense said it has tracked 4 aircraft and 5 ships from China's military around the country by 5 p.m. Saturday. Taiwan has been tasked with combat air patrols, Navy ships and air defense missile systems to monitor and respond to the Chinese activities. Argentina's Chamber of Deputies held a special concession to condemn the apparent assassination attempt against Vice President Cristina Fernandez. The Chamber President read the complete text which had been discussed and approved by the majority of the political forces in the chamber. However, part of the opposition left the chamber without participation in the debate in which 12 deputies took part. Former U.S. President Donald Trump was back on the campaign trail in Pennsylvania on his first rally since the FBI search of his Mar-a-Lago club. Now, the former president spent part of the evening railing against the raid and Joe Biden's administration. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy welcomed the decision by finance minister from the group of 7 industrial powers to impose a cap on the price of Russian oil. This comes as G7 finance minister pledged to limit the Kremlin's revenues and ability to fund its war in Ukraine while curtailing its impact on resources. The largest attack on police, at least 7 officers were killed in an explosive attack in San Luis municipality in Western Colombia. However, the authorities have not named the alleged perpetrators of the attack. As the UK is all set to welcome its new Prime Minister, the top contenders, Indian origin former Chancellor Rishi Sunak from Foreign Secretary Liz Truss, who has been the colleagues for years now, are facing each other in the Tory leadership race. And results will finally be announced on September 5th at around 5 p.m. in India. A wind-swept wildfire in rural northern California tore through a neighborhood and destroyed about 100 homes and other buildings. Fire officials said at least 2 people were injured and thousands were forced from their homes. The flames raced into the Lincoln Heights neighborhood, where a significant number of homes burned and residents had to flee for their lives. Pakistan appealed to the international community for an immense humanitarian response to unprecedented flooding that has left more than 1,200 people dead. Vast area of the country are still submerged under flood water. Pakistan's National Disaster Management Authority, in its latest report Saturday, counted 57 more deaths from flood-affected areas of Sindh. Former U.S. President Trump blasted his successor Joe Biden for his recent speech in Philadelphia and termed it the most vicious, hateful and divisive speech ever delivered by an American president. The critical remarks from Trump came a day after Biden lashed out at his predecessor and his presidential campaign, "Make America Great Again." Thousands of Mexican National Anti-France supporters staged a demonstration against President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. The march came after the Mexican Chamber of Deputies approved a legislative reform which was promoted by President López Obrador that transfers the National Guard, created as a civilian command force, to the Secretariat of National Defense. Trouble continues to mount for NASA's Artemis 1 moon mission as a second attempt for launching the rocket failed, thus leading to another potential delay in the mission. As informed by the U.S. Space Agency, the launch was called off due to a fuel leak issue. Notably, this is the second time in the last 5 days that the spacecraft's launch continued to face disruptions due to technical issues. After registering a 40-run win over Hong Kong, the Indian cricket team is set to clash with arch rivals Pakistan today in the Asia Cup, which is being held in Doha, Qatar. Pakistan has also beaten Hong Kong. India had earlier earned the qualification after defeating Pakistan by 5 wickets in their campaign opener last Sunday. Team India is all set, all-rounder there, Ravindra Jadeja, is all set now to miss the T20 World Cup in Australia as he will undergo major knee surgery, which is expected to keep him out of action for an indefinite period of time. Jadeja, who played the first 2 games of Asia Cup against Pakistan and Hong Kong, gave the team the requisite balance with his all-around abilities, and the 33-year-old veteran's absence will be a big blow to Rohit Sharma's side. Max Verstappen produced a brilliant final lap to take a pole position for Dutch Grand Prix, just ahead of Charles Leclerc. The Red Bull driver edged Leclerc's Ferrari by seconds to huge roars from Verstappen's Orange Army fans. But the session was interrupted earlier when a flare was thrown onto the track. Governing body FIA said that the culprit was removed from the stands by security. For number 2, Brits Cilic will face Spanish young gun seed Carlos Alcaraz in the next round. Roma head coach Jose Mourinho hailed eternal Serena Williams, saying that the American tennis player is among the limited number of athletes that will never be forgotten as generations go by for what she did inside and outside of the court.